Now, I haven't done many movie reviews this year, but I figured what way to get back into it than with The Force Awakens.
There are stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it. The dark side. The Jedi. They're real.
The Force. It's calling to you. Just let it in.
Star Wars The Force Awakens is directed by J.J. Abrams, it's written by J.J. Abrams, Lawrence Kasdan, and Michael Arndt. And this movie stars a long list of actors. John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, Harrison Ford, Peter Mayhew, Gwendolyn Christie, Andy Serkis, Donald Gleason, Anthony Daniels, Max von Sydow, Oscar Isaac, I've got a list here, Carrie Fisher. They've got a whole bunch of the original cast members back, and it's mixing the old cast with the new cast, and this is probably the most hyped up movie of all time, so people were obviously going to be disappointed by it. There's so much hype leading up to it, and even myself, I've never been the biggest Star Wars guy, but I have seen the original. I know in a previous video I said I hadn't seen the originals, but I've seen them all now. I've never been the biggest Star Wars guy, but I'm invested in the characters, I'm invested in the lore, and so I was definitely excited for this movie. And just on the merits of like the trailers alone, they looked great, and the way they marketed it by not spoiling anything, and that this is going to be a spoiler-free review, so I love that. I love that we barely even knew the plot going into this movie. Unfortunately though, some people on the internet thought it would be funny to spoil the movie for everyone, because I got a key plot detail ruined for me right before I saw it. So it didn't hamper my enjoyment of the film, but it was pretty annoying that some dickheads have to go out and ruin it for everyone else, because I know a lot of people who've gotten a major plot point ruined for them, and it's just really disappointing that people are going to go ahead and do that after all the effort that JJ and stuff put into the marketing. But anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about the actual movie. I'm putting on the air conditioner. It's freaking hot in here. That's much better. The movie. Now, the main character is Rey. We follow Rey. She's a scavenger on this shitty desert planet called Jakku. And she's just, she's just living life, She is raiding old spaceships. She scavenges for parts to sell, and that's basically how she lives, to get food to feed herself. So it's not a very glamorous life, but, she's there, she's good at what she does, and she's a really likable character, and that's what we need. This world is crying out for strong female characters in film, and let me tell you, Rey is one, because she's fantastic. She's the heart and soul of the movie. She carries the film on her head and shoulders. She's such a likable character. She's strong, and I'm not going to go into spoiler details, but the journey her character takes in this film is fantastic, and I can't wait to see more. And Daisy Ridley, I love how they cast an unknown actress. She's been in a couple things, but no one's really heard of her. And so this is a star-making role and performance, and she's going to blow up. It's great that, they've gone back to casting unknowns. And then John Boyega as Finn. He's been in a few things. He's mostly known for Attack the Block, which is a movie I love. But John Boyega, he was great in this too. He was a little hammy and over the top, but he just looked like he was having so much fun being in a Star Wars movie. And I've seen from the media and stuff, John Boyega seems like an awesome dude. He's like the biggest Star Wars fan ever, so he was just so excited to be in this movie. And the character Finn, it didn't go in directions I expected, but I really liked the character. I really liked what they did with him, and he was likable and a lot of fun, and he was flawed. That's what I like. The characters weren't perfect heroes. They had flaws, and they had depth, and that's something that I have to say about the villain, Kylo Ren. He had depth. He's no Darth Vader in terms of being menacing and stuff like that, but he's a character, you know, he's not just a big scary guy in a mask. We find out more about him. Again, not going into spoilers, but we start to see his motivations for doing what he does and why he thinks he's doing the right thing. So he's an actual character, and I feel like he's one that can be fleshed out. And this is really hard to do without spoiling stuff, so I'm really trying to keep this to what we already know from the trailers. I probably will do a spoiler review not too far down the track, because I've seen the movie twice now. I'm probably going to go see it a couple more times. But I've just been talking about the characters, because that's something that you need in Star Wars. You need engaging characters, and you need chemistry, because Lord knows the prequels didn't have any chemistry, and the chemistry in this is great. Rey, the friendship that starts up between Rey and Finn. Finn's like this stormtrooper. He knows what they're doing isn't right, so he breaks out and meets Rey on Jakku. And the relationship that sparks between them, just the friendship, it's really great. They have good chemistry, and you just fall in love with these characters straight away, which is awesome. And I'm bringing back the old cast. I was a little worried that it might feel like they were a bit forced and shoehorned in, but let me tell you, Harrison Ford back as Han Solo, fucking fantastic. He nailed it. He played Han Solo. He wasn't just an old man walking around, but at the same time, he wasn't just the same Han Solo. He was Han Solo grown up. He was still the same fun character, but he had a bit more maturity to him and a bit of depth. Because we've never really known too much about Han Solo, have we? He was always just this fun, wisecracking guy. And this movie does bring a bit of depth to the character, but still the same fun, the one-liners and stuff. And he was great. He had a lot of the humor in the movie. Him and Chewbacca. Chewbacca was awesome as well. Chewbacca actually tugs on your heartstrings a little bit as well, and he's really funny. And then the new droid character we've got, BB-8. He was great. He was perfect. I don't know, is it a he, a she, or an... Droids don't have genders, do they? But BB-8, the little orange circle thingy, he was awesome. He had a lot of good laughs. He came in at the right moments. He didn't, they didn't give too much attention to him. He didn't try to steal scenes or anything, but he did his job, and BB-8 was awesome. I hope we're going to see more of BB-8 in the future. I want that fucking Android toy. You know, the little remote control toy by Sphere you can get? It's a little BB-8 rolling around. I don't care if it's $160 US. I want that shit, because that is fucking awesome. And another thing, Rey, I'm in love with that character. I want all the action figures and stuff that I can find. Congratulations, Star Wars, you're going to get a lot of money out of me. As for the film, I've spent ages on characters, I know. J.J. Abrams, he nails it. The camera work is fantastic. There are a lot of really inspired shots. It's a whole lot of fun, and it captures the spirit of what Star Wars needs to be. It's fun, there's humor, it has its, sad and tragic moments, but it doesn't take itself overly seriously. It's a fun space opera, and there's that sense of love and camaraderie between the characters, which is what you need in Star Wars. It's not this, like the prequels, it's not this depressing mope fest where everyone's like, oh, I'm angsty. It's great, it's fun, it'll put you in a good mood after you see it, unless you're one of these people who's going to nitpick the movie for flaws and hate it, because that's what a lot of people have done. As for flaws, The Force Awakens, no, it's not a perfect movie. It's not a perfect movie at all. It does have some problems, a lot of which I can't really go into without spoilers, but it is pretty similar to A New Hope. The story beat, it hits a lot of familiar story beats to A New Hope, and there's a lot of the same progression. That didn't bother me as much as it did some people, because that's kind of what we wanted anyway. People hated the prequels because they're different to the originals, and now we get something that's similar to the originals but still stands on its own as its own story. All this movie is the building blocks for a new trilogy, so the fact that it is similar to the first one doesn't bother me, because George Lucas in the series, for better or for worse in the prequels, repetition has been a big theme in the series. It's something called ring theory, and it's the theme of repeating of history, and I think it's more of a poetic choice. I don't know if I'm picking the best words here, but what I'm saying is it's not just that they were lazy and tried to rehash the original. It's not all about fan service. They didn't even go overboard with the fan service. It's just setting up a new trilogy and a new story, and I guarantee you the next one's going to go different ways. And I even tell you, in The Force Awakens, there's a lot that's different to A New Hope. If you're just looking at it and seeing the same movie, then all you're doing is going into it and trying to find flaws, because yeah, this movie's not perfect. Some characters were a little disappointing. He didn't have much to do. Another thing, the two motion capture characters, they looked pretty CGI to me, and it didn't really mesh with the practical effects stuff. But nothing was big enough to take me out of the movie. I had a lot of fun with The Force Awakens, and what it does is it gets you excited for the next one. Some people won't be happy with the ending because it's a bit of a cliffhanger, but it just left me like hungry for more, and I thought it was a perfect ending. And yeah, bring on... what's the next one? Not Rogue One, that's coming next year, but Episode 8. I don't think we have a title for that yet, but it comes out in a year and a half. It's coming out in May like the originals did, so cannot wait for that. That's about all I've got to say on The Force Awakens. You know, it introduces new characters that we're hopefully going to fall in love with. It's a fun space opera story. It's not as I don't think it's as good as Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope and stuff, but I think I liked it more than Return of the Jedi because I wasn't huge on that movie, and obviously it's worlds better than the prequels. It's a great movie, I'm telling you. Force Awakens, go see it. If you're a Star Wars fan, it's even accessible to non-Star Wars fans, and I'm not going to go into this movie looking for flaws because that's no fucking fun. If you're just going into a movie looking to hate it, you're a dick. I mean, yeah, if you don't like this movie, more power to you. I'm sure that there are plenty of reasons to not like it, but to just go into it wanting to pick it apart, I'm sorry, but you have no heart, because this movie, I think the good outweighs the bad, definitely, and it's a solid start to the new trilogy. Hats off to you, J.J. Abrams. You did the best you could because you had so much riding on your shoulders, and if this movie was terrible, his career is fucking over. He's going to be known as Jar Jar Abrams for the rest of his life. But yeah, Force Awakens, objectively, I'd probably give it maybe an 8.5 or so out of 10. It's a really, really fun time, and I definitely recommend that you check it out if you haven't already, because most people probably should have. But yeah, that's it. I'm probably going to do a spoiler review for this soon, and I made a review for Creed, which I also saw on the same day. And the year's heating up for movies. I'm probably not going to do my year-end best of list until about February, because there's a couple movies that I want to see that don't come out here until February, and I want to be able to include them in my 2015 list. So yeah, that's going to be a late one. I haven't really put much thought to it, but I may still do a worst songs of 2015 list. It's been my tradition every year. I haven't listened to a whole lot of music this year, but I think I could throw something together because that'll be good fun. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Go and see The Force Awakens, and if you go see it in 2D, because the 3D it did nothing. It was useless. Have a good one.